I'm Eric Anderson. Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, women could soon join the ranks of the Navy SEALs. We'll have the latest on the Pentagon's plans for women in combat. And it's cleanup time at La Jolla Cove. Workers are finally doing something about the stinky situation there.
I'm Peggy Pico. Also ahead, the 4 key ways to tackle San Diego's poverty without paying more money from a new United Way report. And we continue our investigative coverage on Melrose taxes and why voters aren't getting a say in who pays and who doesn't.
And when's the last time you checked your cholesterol or blood pressure? A San Diego hospital is launching a program to make sure that folks know their numbers. KPBS Evening Edition starts now.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Irwin Jacobs and by
Thanks for joining us. Dwayne Brown is off tonight. Tomorrow, the Pentagon is expected to announce details on its plan to move women into combat roles. Women could start training as Navy SEALs as early as March 2016. The Associated Press got details of the plan and says women and men would have to meet the same physical and mental standards. It's still possible that women will be kept out of some jobs if research and testing find that they couldn't be successful in sufficient numbers. Our recent stories on the North County Transit District have gotten a response from Washington, D.C. The Federal Transit Administration is now taking an interest. iNews Source reporter Brad Racino joins us from the newsroom with more. Brad, what exactly happened?
Over the last several months of our reporting, we've kept the Federal Transit Administration up to date in the hopes that they would comment on something. Well, the FTA is the federal agency that administers grants to state and local agencies like North County and is charged with overseeing that the money is well spent. On Friday, we finally got a response from them.
And what exactly did they have to say?
They told me that they've actually been watching. We've published 20 stories on North County since February, and a spokesman for the FTA said they are now actively looking into the issues that we've raised.
And any idea when we're going to find out a little bit more?
The FTA told me they'll have more information at some point this week, possibly as early as tomorrow.
And any response from the North County Transit District on this matter?
So far, not a thing.
iNews Source reporter Brad Racino. Thanks, Brad. We'll have more online at kpbs.org/transit. Open government advocates are speaking out against a bill attached to the California budget. If it's signed by Governor Jerry Brown, cities and counties could dramatically restrict the information that they release to the public without explanation. Current law requires governments to respond to public records requests within 10 days. The bill makes the deadline optional, and a spokesman for the state finance department says the bill would save California millions in reimbursements to local governments. He says residents still have a constitutional right to access government records. Relief is on the way for businesses and residents near La Jolla Cove. Crews got to work cleaning up the bird droppings that have created a big stink in the area. This morning, they sprayed the area with a foamy solution that will eventually eat through that buildup. Residents have been complaining about the smelly situation for about a year.
I think it's worth one shot, and then the judgment comes in 6 months later.
I think it's silly. I think it's going to possibly change the smell for a few weeks.
Now, the cleanup is expected to take about 10 days, but it's been complicated a bit by nesting season for birds in the area. Workers are planning to come back in July to finish that job. Each application of the cleaner costs $50,000. Firefighters were mopping up in Mission Trails Regional Park today after a brush fire burned 110 acres over the weekend. Part of the park was closed today, but all of the trails are now reopened. Cause of the fire remains under investigation. California's electricity grid managers are hoping to energize consumers to conserve this summer. Ads began running today on television stations around the state. The message is intended to nudge residents to think about the coming months.
Let's hear it for hands. A collection of nimble digits. They're as adept at turning things off as they are at switching them on. especially if we face power shortages.
State and local officials expect the demand for electricity to be up slightly over last year, but San Diego Gas and Electric's Mike Nigley says there should be enough power.
This year we are expecting about 4,600 megawatts of demand in our region under normal conditions. That may get up to as much as 5,100 megawatts of demand if we have an exceptionally hot summer, and we'll need to supply for that. One huge piece of the supply puzzle is people. The California Independent System Operator manages the electricity grid, and the agency's Stephanie McCorkle says the ads running now are focused on educating power customers.
And people can have an enormous impact. They're basically creating the kind of megawatt output that comes from a power plant.
McCorkle says the cheapest and cleanest megawatts in the power system are those that are never used. She says cutting back power usage during peak hours has had measurable benefits for the grid. It also helps customers.
So you are benefiting your pocketbook. Your bill is going to be lower. You're benefiting the power grid because reliability is going to be protected. And then you're also benefiting the planet because this is all good for the environment as well.
Utility officials do say that it's tough to accurately measure the impact of conservation, but they say that 5 to 10% is considered a reasonable result. A new report by the United Way of San Diego County finds 4 key ways to help needy residents without spending any more money. Peggy Pico has the details.
No one wants to talk about it, but everyone needs it. Money. That's the first line from the report called Voices for the Common Good, a 2-year study that looked at key areas to improve family finances long term. Shayna Gross with the United Way of San Diego County and Murtaza Baksamusa with San Diego Middle Class Taxpayers Association join me with more on the big picture of poverty in San Diego and what can be done about it. Welcome.
Thank you, Peggy.
Sheena, the United Way interviewed hundreds of people for this study, and they told you about 4 key areas that were crucial to overcoming or breaking the cycle of poverty. What are those areas?
The first was around being in crisis versus barely managing. So we have folks who are not even above the federal poverty level and are in crisis mode. And then we have individuals that are working hard but still falling short and barely making it.
And then there was the difficulty accessing public resources or benefits. What did you find there?
Correct. It's a really complicated system. There are federal regulations, state, county, and it's hard to navigate.
Okay, and what were some of the last 2 that you really found?
We found a mismatch between job trainings and job openings. So people don't have the skills that our employers are looking for, and employers can't find skilled workforce to meet their needs.
Is it that the training programs didn't?
The training programs are specific and sometimes lack some of the basic reading, writing, math, soft skills that we think of are sort of a given but aren't there. And then the final area was the lack of childcare and transportation and how those are barriers to people not just getting employment but retaining employment and advancing in their employment because it really ties them.
Right. If you can't get to work or you can't get your childcare, you're going to be absent more and
Absolutely.
It's going to cause a problem. Let's talk about this, Murtaza. The report found that the federal poverty guidelines don't take the high cost of living in San Diego into account when they're issuing, I guess, funds. So is there anything that can be done about that?
Yes, the federal poverty guideline is inadequate, both because of the high cost of living as well as the increased cost of health care, child care, and transportation for San Diego's workforce.
What's the situation here as far as poverty? Give us some numbers.
Well, 462,000 people live in poverty in San Diego. Now, it's important to realize that 7% of the entire population is what I would call working poor. That's 112,000 people that are working and still struggling to make ends meet.
So that's almost 500,000 people on some level of it.
Correct.
Impoverishment. Sheena, this is part of the issue, but you found a gap between the really impoverished, as you were talking about, and self-sufficient families here. Tell us about that.
So what we have is a group of people, as was mentioned, that are really working hard, sometimes 2 jobs, but aren't making enough to make ends meet each month and then plan for a future, whether that's retirement or a college savings account for their kids.
Something I really liked about this report is it's in common language, it's easy to read, and there were also some very practical solutions. Name off a couple of things that the United Way is doing to try to help resolve these problems.
We have a couple of programs. We have a transportation education, a car loan program for individuals with poor credit, because we know that's the hardest time to get a loan. We have financial education programs. We're doing mock interviewing for adults and youth, teaching some of those soft skills. A good handshake and eye contact are really key. And then we're talking about wanting to change the conversation and stop talking about getting people out of poverty as being success, but really people into self-sufficiency.
And there's actually a new county access number, right? A phone number that people will help them get the benefits that are available
They'll
right
help
now.
you navigate that complicated system, and 211 as well.
Okay, and we'll talk about that and how people can access that. But why is it in everyone's interest, not just the poor, not just the middle class, to sort of bring up the economic level of everyone here in San Diego?
Just for two reasons. One is the demand. As if you have a larger consumer base with more expendable income, then you have more economic growth. Secondly, in terms of the supply, the middle class is more inclined to invest in training and education and in their own children so that they can lift the entire economy up.
It benefits us all. Well, I want to let folks know that we do have links to the county public benefits phone number and that access, and the very simple, easy to read guide for the United Way on that report at kpbs.org. Shana Gross and Murtaza Baximus, thank you so much.
Thank you, Peggy.
Some local elementary students got an up-close look at the challenges facing the homeless today. They joined Mayor Bob Filner and his fiancée at the city's homeless tent in Barrio Logan. They were serving a pizza and asking the homeless about their needs.
It's so exciting that a group of 4th and 5th grade students would be so passionate about helping others, so concerned about the plight of individuals who don't have a home, who don't have a regular place to sleep at night, and for them to be involved. They wrote me a letter, beautifully worded letter, about their concern about the homeless people in their community and what they want to do about it.
Now, the students were from Cherokee Point Elementary in City Heights. After their visit to the shelter, they went to today's city council meeting to tell council members what they learned. NASA has introduced its first new batch of astronauts in 4 years, 4 men and 4 women, selected from more than 6,000 applicants. Now, the space agency says even though the shuttles were grounded, there are big projects ahead.
They're excited about the science we're doing on the International Space Station and our plan to launch from U.S. soil on spacecraft built by American companies. And they're ready to help lead the first human mission to an asteroid and then on to Mars.
And there are some San Diego connections to the astronaut class of 2013. Candidate Jessica Meyer got her doctoral degree at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, and Marine Corps Major Nicole Mann is a California native. There is one other Californian among the prospective astronauts, Victor Glover, who's a lieutenant commander in the Navy. All the class of 2013 report for training in August. In San Diego, most new taxes require a vote of the people, but there's an exception. In fact, a multi-million-dollar exception. As iNews Source reporter Joanne Farian explains, San Diego taxpayers are paying millions more in taxes that they may never have approved.
I'm very enthusiastic in my support of Prop Z in the upcoming election.
Last November, voters in the San Diego Unified School District were asked to approve an increase in their property taxes to help fix and improve local schools. It was called Proposition Z, and it passed. More than 350,000 people cast votes. All new local taxes, designated for specific purposes like schools, are subject to a public vote. It's a constitutional amendment passed in 1978 as part of Proposition 13.
Mello-Roos, named after 2 lawmakers, is a tax created to pay for schools and roads and new developments. Mello-Roos is also subject to a vote.
But an iNews Source analysis shows there is rarely a public vote to approve Mello-Roos taxes. Sometimes it comes down to a single person approving the new tax, often the developer. and it's all perfectly legal.
Here's how it works. Let's say a developer, we'll call him Joe. We couldn't find a developer who would agree to an on-camera interview. So let's say Joe developer owns vacant land somewhere in San Diego, and he wants to build 1,000 new homes. The city makes Joe pay for the new roads he'll need, the new sewer and water lines, and the school district wants him to help build a new school too. But that's going to cost a lot of money, millions. The Mello-Roos law allows Joe to form what's called a Community Facilities District, or CFD, with either the city or the school district or both. A CFD can collect taxes that will pay for the new roads and schools. But the law says in order to levy those new taxes, there has to be a vote. Here's where the county registrar of voters steps into the process.
So when a community facility district is being proposed and the local governmental body wants to propose it in a specific area, them or their representatives comes to our office, provides us the information of the proposed area, and asks us to certify the total number of registered voters.
iNewsSource examined the registrar's files for proposed Mello-Roos districts since 1994.
Of the 244 proposed districts or expansions of districts, there were 0 registered voters in almost all of them. That's because the land is vacant. No one lives there. The Mello-Roos law says if there are fewer than 12 voters in a district, the landowners vote. And in many cases, that's the developer. Remember Joe? A vote of 1.
In all, 232 Mello-Roos districts are collecting taxes in San Diego County. They generated nearly $200 million in taxes last year in the county. You can see who's paying Mello-Roos and how much by going to our interactive map at kpbs.org/taxes.
Joining me with further details in her ongoing Mello-Roos tax investigation is iNewsSource reporter Joanne Farian. And Joanne, you've been covering this for some time, and one of the things you found early on is that some people were overpaying quite a bit of money on their Mello-Roos tax. Give us an update what the county is doing about that.
Sure, Peggy. So as we mentioned in the story about this map, well, homeowners started using this map, and one in particular found out that his neighbor seemed to be paying so much more, $2,000 more a year in this tax. He alerted us. We did some digging, a lot of digging, and in fact found out that the square footage was incorrect according to city records, and so he was being overcharged. Another homeowner, same scenario, although he was paying $6,000 too much a year in these taxes. The city says these 2 homeowners will get refunds, but they're also investigating the other tax bills for 346 homeowners in this one particular neighborhood to make sure that they're not paying too much as well.
And let's come back to your current information that you have here. The Register of Voters, is there anything they can do to eliminate what appears to be this technicality that allows one developer to vote versus the population?
Well, actually, no, because really, in essence, it's not a technicality. The law, Mello-Roos law, says this is the way it works. This is really by design the way that it works. It allows landowners, which normally are the developers, to do this, because when you think of new development, often what you're going to find is vacant land. No one lives there. So by design of the law, that's the way it's going to work.
How about homeowners or prospective new buyers? Is there anything they can do to vote on the tax before it happens?
Well, as part of the law, there is a public process. So what happens when these tax districts or community facility districts are formed, the public has to be notified. The only problem is when these districts are being formed, it's usually years before the houses are built. So you might be someone in the market for a home, but you don't know. It's like if you could time travel and go back in time and attend the meeting, maybe you could speak up. But chances are you don't even know you're in the market to buy that home when this district is being formed.
So that sounds a little depressing at first, but tell us what you can do if you're a home buyer and you want to see whether you're going to have to pay Mello-Roos or not.
Really, you should do your homework. The title of our series is Mello-Roos, the Tax You Choose. So now what we think we've developed a new tool now for the potential homeowner, which is this map. It allows you to go into a neighborhood. Maybe you want to buy into the Poway School District. It lets you go into a neighborhood, see where the Mello-Roos taxes are, see how much they are, because they vary dramatically street to street. So it's another research tool so you can do your homework and decide whether you want to pay it or you want to move somewhere else and you don't want to pay it.
So there's a little bit of help there. iNewsSource, Joanne Farian, thanks so much.
One of the keys to good health is knowing your numbers, as in blood pressure and cholesterol. Sharp Healthcare has launched an ambitious effort to give 5,000 San Diegans their numbers through free health screenings. KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg says it's the largest initiative of its kind in San Diego.
At Grossmont Shopping Center in La Mesa, Sharp Healthcare employees are trolling for volunteers. They're looking for people who'd like to have a free health screening. Participants will get the lowdown on 5 key health indicators, including cholesterol, blood sugar, and blood pressure. Sharp doesn't retain any of the information. It simply does the screenings, provides the results, and offers a little health advice.
You can put your purse on the table, just kind of debulk a little bit there.
Sharp health educator Jody McEdward explains the procedure to La Mesa resident Hannah Garrett.
So you know that we'll grab height, weight, and then also get a little finger stick for blood screening. And wonderful, good. So can you slip your sandals off easily? If not, we can make do.
Over the next 15 minutes, McEdward puts Garrett through the paces. Part of the screening includes questions about tobacco use. Garrett admits she smokes hookahs occasionally, so McEdward offers some feedback.
So you've probably heard that that's definitely something that adds a lot of nicotine to the system. It affects the blood pressure especially. So yeah, that one session on a hookah is equal to almost a pack of cigarettes. Kind of scary, huh?
After that brief interlude, McEdward gives Garrett her numbers. Everything looks good.
So give me 5, way to go, nice job.
Garrett says she's pleasantly surprised.
I learned I'm healthy. I really didn't know. I really didn't expect my results to come out that great, but they did, so I'm happy, you know.
Blood pressure's good, blood sugar,
everything perfect, so happy.
McEdward says she really enjoys doing the screenings.
What I like about doing this is the joy on people's faces when they see how well they've succeeded, but it's also to help them get through that sudden shock of, I need to deal with this. It's a very human relationship. It's wellness at the base level.
The idea for doing free health screenings came from Sharp's internal wellness program. This spring, Sharp offered the screenings to all of its employees. Wellness Program Coordinator Megan Sperling says more than 10,000 workers stepped forward.
Well, basically what we wanted to do with our employee screening program is give our employees an opportunity to better understand their overall health status. And the community screening is reflected through that because of the fact that we really wanted our community to have the same benefits that our employees are having internally.
It's good for people to know their numbers. It's also important for the community as a whole to know how all of the numbers add up.
Only 11% of adults in San Diego County smoke, but some of the other numbers are troubling. For example, 55% of county adults are either overweight or obese, and 35% have high blood pressure. The annual price tag for dealing with both of these conditions nationwide is more than $340 billion. Sharp President Mike Murphy says offering free screenings in the community is one way Sharp can try to make a difference. He thinks giving people their numbers can prompt them to make healthy changes.
I think there is more and more written and more attention being paid to health and good health. And I think the more, whether it's Sharp putting this in front of them or others putting it in front of them, that the more and more people will engage and need to be held accountable to their healthcare choices.
Murphy says Sharp's effort is part of a trend.
It's very consistent, actually, with some of the great things that are going on at San Diego County, because the county is very focused on enhancing health for their entire community. So this we saw is very consistent with what's happening at the county and kind of doing an additional part for us in being a great community citizen.
So from now until September, Sharp will be out in the community offering free screenings at 60 different locations. Health educator Jody McEdward hopes more people will take advantage of them.
This is helping people to overcome small barriers and staying healthy every day, whether it's diet, exercise, changing a particular behavior, having the courage to face it, and then getting feedback for doing such a good job. And congratulations on taking charge of your health. And this is a great part. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so
This is my pleasure, Sandy. You did a great job.
Kenny Goldberg, KPBS News.
Graduation day came a little bit late for a Carlsbad High School student this year. Josue Ramos couldn't walk with the rest of his class because he had emergency surgery to remove a brain tumor. So today, the school brought graduation to him.
For everyone coming out and showing support for me, and it means a lot that everyone came out and really showed their love for me.
To a career in the medical field.
I'm Jeffrey Brown. On the next NewsHour, new decisions from the Supreme Court. That's Monday on the PBS NewsHour.
Local Emmy Awards were handed out last weekend at a ceremony in Las Vegas, and KPBS brought home a couple of statuettes for the program Billy McLaughlin's Starry Night with Orchestra Nova. One of those Emmys went to the man directing this newscast, Don Johnson. We want to congratulate him. We also want to congratulate our colleagues who are being honored by the San Diego chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists. 15 members of the KPBS News Staff won awards this year, and so did 5 members of our partner, iNewsSource. And SPJ is honoring longtime San Diego weatherman and environment reporter Lauren Nancaro as San Diego's Journalist of the Year. Here is a quick look at our local forecast. Partly cloudy along the coast with temperatures in the 60s, daytime highs in the 70s in the inland valleys, upper 70s to low 80s for the mountain areas, and triple digits with sunshine out in the desert. You can find tonight's stories and download the KPBS app, all on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks very much for joining us. Have a great evening.